Today we're going to install one of the most overlooked mods, and honestly this is something I want to get rid of because I can't stand this thing. I was sent out a brand new radio head unit, so we're going to quickly go through the install, all its features, and ultimately what I think of it. Let's get into it. But seriously, I hate this radio because literally whenever I try to like touch things, like it's just, now it's finally doing it a little bit, but it doesn't do anything. I have to, you know what I mean? Like, it's not doing it now, but this thing will absolutely just start dancing by itself, and the screen just starts literally going to the boot menu or like just all sorts of random things. It's like it's possessed. Yeah, I'm good. It's time for a change. And here I want to do a quick unboxing to show you guys everything that the package comes with. As you can see, we have the screen here, and it comes with a really nifty screen, very sturdy, very beautiful, very demure. There's going to be different GPS and other cords that you need to attach, like the antenna. Everything does come labeled and easy to understand, so that way you can install this correctly. And of course, here's the box where everything gets connected to. Overall, it's a very simple install. We're gonna step right into it. So this is the radio unit that was recommended to me, and honestly, it's not that bad. It's terrible. So thankfully, CarTech Studio came to my rescue and sent me out a brand new head unit. This one was off of Amazon. It was a cheap unit. It was a recommendation from homies at Z1 because we have the same car. Well, had, Blaine sold out. John and I still have the same car, and he used it, and I guess they're having better luck than me because mine is just defective. And also, to make this clear, I do get kickbacks from this, but if this head unit sucks, I'm gonna absolutely tell you, and I'm not even gonna put down the code. But if you see the code, it's a good sign that everything's good. I'm gonna start with the install. So removing this head unit, and obviously I don't have a stock unit, but the process is gonna be mostly the same. And then after that, it's gonna be the review of it. So if you wanna skip through the video, totally do it. I do the same, I get it. Now, the install is gonna be different for me compared to a lot of you because I already have an aftermarket radio unit in, so all I have to do is pop this out, and of course unplug everything like the antennas and such, so that way it can be completely disconnected from the harness. And there are the air vents that you do need to unscrew and take out, along with the emergency hazard button. So mine's gonna be a little bit simpler because of the fact that I had, like I said, have an aftermarket radio already. So all I had to do was just pull it out. But now with installing it, you're gonna have to start with, well, at least I'm gonna start with putting this module. I don't know what this is called, so for lack of better words, I'm gonna just say like the CAN module, because I'm assuming this is like what gets everything to work, whatever. Pretty tight, has little things to connect it to. And then on the back side of this, just make sure you put it in the correct orientation. But as you can see, it has where it goes, so that way you can clip onto it. So now next step is I'm gonna go ahead and connect everything else and just get this installed. Honestly, installing radios on the Honda Fit, it's honestly extremely easy, and I'm super stoked, but let's get into it. So this is the harness that the kit comes with, and it's very cut and dry, very simple to install. It might look overwhelming at first because you're dealing with a bunch of wires, but as you install things, it just gets easier and easier. I also went ahead and put the hazard button on, double checking to make sure that it's actually sturdy. But just keep connecting things and it just becomes easier and easier as you go. And also, you should always try to power it up first before you finalize the install, because I definitely did not make any mistakes at all. But yes, I found out that this needs to be connected to the back of the radio unit, and that's why I wasn't getting any power. So who would have thought, right? But let's go ahead and fix my mistake, and we should be ready to rip. And I was immediately impressed with how clear the screen is and also how the touch was. So far I'm liking it a lot, but we have to put it to the real test. Also, I wanted to immediately connect my phone and get the Apple CarPlay going. But since we're diving into the features, let's talk about it. Right off the gate, it comes with a harness, a specific harness for your vehicle. When you are selecting it, just be careful because you don't want to select the wrong option, and next thing you know, you have a harness that does not work for your car. So if you need help, hit them up. Their customer service is actually pretty spot on, and they will help you out really quickly. This next one, unfortunately, I couldn't really utilize a lot because I don't have a lot of OEM features, but it's also tight that anything that works on your steering wheel or OEM features in general, all of them are going to work no matter what, even with the aftermarket head unit. Their units are premium, and they're actually heavily tested against failure. So their software team debugs thoroughly by their quality assurance team, and you can tell. The technical specs are it's a HD screen with a Qualcomm Snapdragon 6125 processor, 8-core CPU, 8 gigs of RAM, and 128 gigabytes of storage. This is going to be sick for all the road trips. You can actually go into the Google Play Store and download things like YouTube. You can download YouTube Music or Netflix. It's kind of like having like a jailbroken phone, but in your car. You can run 2 apps in the split screen, a very responsive Spotify, Waze, and other apps that open in 1 to 2 seconds, with a 1 to 2 second boot up screen. The screen itself is very responsive and smooth, with wireless CarPlay and Android Auto. And this is something I'm going to get into later. Some models have a physical button, so that way it's safer for driving. But now, let's get into the real deal. How do I feel about the head unit? And I'm going to be real with you, I really like this head unit so far. Here's why. It's mainly because this is a 2010 Honda Fit, you know, sport, don't forget. So that way, that's how you know I go fast. Now, granted, I did already change the head unit over to a tablet, but that thing was terrible. Just like I said earlier in the video, just was not worth the money. I was a little hesitant to try like another tablet style radio unit for this car just because I just had such weird luck with one already. But overall, this thing kind of is just blowing my mind. Now, I'm going to say like all the stuff that I love about it, and then the stuff that like kind of gets on my nerves, but it may not necessarily be a bad thing. It just depends on the person. You're taking a 2010 car and making it feel like something out of 2024. It does make the interior feel more luxurious, for a lack of better words. It just makes it feel nicer and more classy because it looks damn good. Being able to operate my phone, handle calls, texts, and everything hands-free is super clutch, because the irony of what I'm about to say right now, but it's just dangerous, like taking your eyes off the road. And this enables me to just make sure, like, I literally tell it, hey Siri, and then it's probably gonna set that off, but send text to whomever or call whomever, or like when I get text, it'll read it out for me and ask me if I want to respond. Stuff like that. It's the typical CarPlay stuff that, you know, it's just super nice to have, and what I'm not used to having in such an old vehicle. I feel like this is one that you can get and give to almost anybody, and they're just going to immediately almost understand how to install this, and also how to understand the UI, the user interface, and be able to navigate it properly. It's honestly awesome. Also, what I love too is the fact that I have a physical button. Like, that may not seem like a big deal, but look, touchscreens are cool and everything, but having the buttons be physical for volume is so clutch. It goes up, down, fast, like super fast. I will say that the quality is a lot nicer than what I was expecting. Everything is fairly responsive, you know, going through it. It's honestly very impressive. And then even if you were going to go all the way back to the boot screen, this thing is an absolute freaking unit. It's super responsive, really nice, and I love the UI. Like, this looks awesome. So if you're just going to use it for just that and not even connect the CarPlay, then I think it just looks really sleek. And then obviously I can go back into CarPlay. But it does automatically connect, and you can have a wired connection. I did connect a USB directly to the back of this to a USB-A to a USB-C, so I could charge my phone. And it charges my phone fairly quick too. That's for others who might be looking at things like that, where their iPhones or your Android phones get charged a little bit too slow. I would say this thing is actually pretty damn good. With that being said, I really can say I am absolutely enjoying this head unit, because it's wild how much better this is versus my old one, and way better how it'd be versus stock. Now, of course, with everything, there's always drawbacks, right? What I'm not a huge fan of is the slight delay. So to clarify on that a little bit more, there is a slight delay when you're in Apple CarPlay, and it's going to be maybe like a half second long. It's not like it's a deal breaker or anything like that, but it's just the fact that if I like hit next song or something, you know, like the music is half a second delayed. But that's because I'm using the Apple CarPlay part of the tablet. This isn't the only screen that does that to me. Even the one in my 370Z has a slight delay. But the irony is that if you use it just for the Bluetooth, it's actually almost like immediate. But honestly, I would say that's it. Like, I'm not really like sweating it. I do think overall it's a really good head unit. And I'm not saying this just because obviously, you know, like they sent it out to me. It's like, no, genuinely, this thing is awesome. So for anybody who's in the market for any type of screen like this, where it's like a tablet style or even just a regular double din, they have a whole lot of options. Now, of course, like I said earlier in the video, I'm going to leave a code. It's code ON3Media, so that way you guys can save some money, because we are approaching holiday season, at least when this video was made. and I just want to be able to help you out. But if I was gonna rate this thing like 1 through 10, solid 8 out of 10. And maybe it might sound like a little harsh, maybe to give an 8 for something that I'm saying is so awesome, but 8 is awesome, you know, 5 being average, 8 is above average, you know? But that's it. We quickly ran through the install, the technical specs and the features, and then we ran through what my personal opinion is. And overall, I can say I recommend this product. Not often do I accept a lot of product, and not often do I have such a high opinion of said product. For a lot of people that don't know who I am, that's fine. Take it for face value. But hopefully this helped you make an educated choice if you want to go ahead and purchase this. Or if you're maybe possibly looking for a gift someone, this is really good. Like, I personally, if my girlfriend would have gave this to me, I would have been stoked about this. But if you guys haven't already, make sure to hit the like button, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video.